Hi, everybody. Welcome to Trader Minute. It's great to have you on board. I'm Carl. Thanks for tuning in. And the market, here we go again, up 12, almost 13 points. Futures up about a dollar more than that right now. Yeah, really bullish day for the market. And one thing you're going to notice on these big bullish days, that's pretty interesting, is a lot of stocks are taking off on it and some aren't. I look at Chesapeake, our position, it's just flat. It's just flat. I mean, it's early still. It still has room to run, but it's just flat. There's nothing bearish there at all. It was down a little bit, been pretty flat. Right now, I think it's up a few cents. It's just flat. Yet you look at some of the other stocks out there just taking off with the market, and that's pretty typical for bull markets. It's almost half and half. You get a lot of stocks going up, and some are just kind of holding their own. And then the next day, some of the stocks that were going up, they slow down, and the rest of the stocks take off. Bear markets, bearish days where you got strong down days, it's quite a bit different. Most stocks are down on those days, but when you're in these bullish days like this, it's almost half and half. So let's just run through our positions really fast. That's right, Max. Got to save some for the next day. Positions in Boeing. I hear it's at the highs of the day, and there was some good news that was announced. They picked up an order, a $7 billion order. And I've brought this up before. I don't know how those Boeing salespeople get paid, but if they get paid by commission, they're pretty wealthy. I'm sure it'd be a very small percentage, but I'd take a small percentage of 7 billion any day. That'd be nice. So yeah, nice for the news to work our way, and it's over time it will always average out about 50-50, right? And then Chesapeake up 6 cents. It's still fairly flat, and there's nothing bearish about this at all. Has a great trend rider bull signal. It's very close to a trend rider bull and a vibe bull signal. It had some very strong volumes the last 2 days, which makes that signal even a little bit juicier. And then you brought up a pretty good stock here, Max. Pinnacle Entertainment. So I wanted to look at this a couple different ways. One of them is through the vibe right here, and show you that MACD. I'm not going to draw on it for a second, but notice the MACD uptrending. Okay, you've also got positive here on the rate of change, and then just starting here the last couple days, last few days, we've got all averages rising. Okay, another thing I want to point out too. Let me back out of this and then kind of go back in. Is look at the last time it got up here. So here's resistance. That was the last time it's been up here, was resistance. And look where this sold off. Look down here at these volumes where it sold off up at these levels. It's really light volume. So it hit resistance, sold off on lighter volumes. Okay, and then it comes down. Got a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern, right? And for the area for this to break, for this to confirm, it would need to be the neckline, which in this case would be around, you could call it 24, just slightly above 24 to 24.5 for that to break. Well, actually 24 turned out, looking at this now, today, 24 came out to be the level. It broke that, came back and retested that level, and then pushed up nicely off of it on this day right here. Very bullish sign. In my opinion, that day right there just locked in not only a higher low, but also a confirmation of the pattern there, suggesting this can run higher. Now, if you want to get an idea about how much higher this can run, what you do is take, according to our pattern here, the head and shoulders, take where the neckline was, so I'll give it 24 down to where the head is down here at 22.5. So it's about $1.50 there. It's suggesting it could run on a breakout. So that would put this up into the 26.50 area, according to our price pattern right there. It's nice looking. And yesterday it had some decent volumes. Today, early on, it's got some pretty good volumes. It's probably a little bit over halfway there already. So I think you're going to even have some pretty good volumes today. Yeah, it's a nice looking setup. If you look at this through a trend rider as well, and that's the way you're looking at this also, is it jumping in the upper band. RSI rising, it's up above 50. The band's expanding. It's a good looking setup. Nice finding, Max. With Tesoro, I was chatting with John a little bit this morning, and he says watch Tesoro and Valero and one of the other refineries here. And so yeah, this is one to watch. Be a little bit careful going bullish. It's been underperforming some of the other ones here, but here you go. You got a descending triangle pattern, but this can easily turn into a nice flag pattern, and all you need is for a push up out of this. And I'd probably give it towards the 58 level. You get a move like that, then the bearish nature is off. But if it does break down below the 56 mark right there into the lower band, this thing could come down pretty good. But right now it's still trapped in that. So I'm on the fence as to go bullish or bearish at this point. But if you look at some of the other stocks that he was telling me to keep my eye on was Valero. They're holding their own up here. It broke up through 47. It came back, hit the 7 yesterday. That's one of those scary pullbacks to the 7. But today it ran lower and it's pushing higher. If you can, the rally up towards the 48 into the close would be pretty good. Even right here, a hold at this level right here is a pretty good sign for it. And then the last one was he told me to watch was WNR. Western Refinery. Kind of the same thing as the last chart we're just looking at here. But I'm on the fence. This would be what they call a symmetrical triangle, where the highs and the lows are just keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter together here. Eventually this will break out one side or the other. And that's the thing with these patterns. They're most of the time they're continuation patterns, but if this broke to the downside out of that pattern, it would be bearish. A break higher here, up through 40 would be bullish for it. Okay, and he's looking more fundamentally on these than technically. Okay, and then Best Buy. Best Buy here, if you look at this, it's been channeling for a little while here, 42 to 40. We're back at 40. Yeah, you could also say that there's a little head and shoulders action, not head and shoulders, but a double top action going on here. For that a double top to confirm, it's got to break down below 40. Just basically the valley between the two peaks, and it is a kind of a bearish double top because you see the right shoulder is lower than the left, suggesting weakness here. But 40, if it breaks through 40, then you've got a confirmed double top. It's not a very big one, but a $2 channel. It could come down here to the $38 range. Now the bands are contracting, and a lot of times they can be levels of support or resistance. Okay, so yeah, that's what I look for there. If I had calls on this and it closed here, then I would be out. It's closing below the 7, but too early to buy puts on it at this juncture. Did I just say juncture? Not aid. AIG. Yeah, AIG. What top 3 on Wednesday of this week is the one I put out after the bell because of the Fed announcement here. Still looks nice. If I was in a trade here, the target I had here for AIG, this is, you could do the old, as long as it stays in the upper band. So let's say that this happened to be today and you got, or whenever you got in, and you're riding it with the upper band. Well, you could either get out here as it's closing inside the band. That's in my book, that's one of the big stories Got a gravestone doji there at a higher level. That was a definite exit, but just watch it. Watch it at this point. It still looks bullish. That's a very strong candlestick today, up into the upper band like that. I'd watch it to about the 51.50 to $52 area. I think that's where I put the price target on that. And that's just this area from right back here. That's this area right here. That's just coming over from this little bit of resistance that I hit up there. Chesapeake, yeah, I mean it's flat now. It's looked like it's starting to break up a little bit here. It's still too early to call, but just flat. I mean, still showing all the bullish signals that we saw yesterday. So we'll just let that work for us. Okay, so Duke Energy here. Whenever I see that, it's Duck, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Duck Dynasty. It's hilarious. It just makes me think of that. And I won't go into the soap opera going on there right now, but the freedom of speech thing, if you know what I'm talking about, kind of comes into play with that. That's all I'll say about that. With Duke Energy, a lot of these energy stocks are looking like this. They look like they found some support. I mean, like Halliburton, it's kind of another example. They same, almost the same chart. Found some support and are now running higher. A break here of the 20 for a lot of stocks. We talked about this a lot. When a lot of stocks, when they start bouncing off the upper band, once they break 20, like over here, they'll hit the lower band. Okay? And vice versa. If they come off the lower band trying to find it and break 20, a lot of times they're going to hit the upper band. I'd watch the $70 area, but if it closed right here, very bullish sign and a good chance it could run up towards the 71 or wherever that upper band is at that time. The bands are contracting, but that doesn't matter at this point. It's so far inside the bands. That's what I'd look for. A move up through 70 towards the $71 area. It looks very bullish. And that whole group, energy stocks, they look really bullish. Swing trader for Boeing. Our price target here is 145. Got a price target of 145 on that. And the way that you can to see all of our stops and our targets and things like that is if you go down to the trades where it says trades and it's showing right now, it's showing Chesapeake and Boeing. If you click on like Boeing, it's going to show you all the information. And that also comes out of the initial email, but it's always good to review that with everybody. So thanks for bringing that up, Swing Trader. Some of the stocks I've been watching today. Citrix Systems. So this is the TrendRider bull signal. Let me zoom in here a little bit. So it had this major gap, likely earnings. And yeah, there's kind of a mutant head and shoulders, a lot of different patterns that you could put on this, but you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. Once you get an eye for these chart patterns, double tops, there's triples, and I mean all these different things like that, they're all kind of the same. They're just peaks and valleys. And now what you do is you always take the neckline or the peak or whatever you want to call it, and that's your level. If it breaks that, then you've got a confirmed, some type of a confirmed pattern, whatever that pattern might be. So 60, it's a big round number. Watch the volumes on this break. I'd like on a break here of 60, I'd like a little bit stronger volumes. But right now, technically it looks really strong. But a break higher at this point would be, the odds would be there a little bit stronger if you had a little bit more volume with that. It has shown some pretty good volumes down at this range as far as holding a level here. But if it sold off back bent down below 50, I mean 60 again today, I'd be a little bit nervous, but right now it looks really strong. And the volume is really not that bad. It might pop up here a little bit. So that's a decent looking signal right there. And a break at 60, could it fill that gap? That's pretty aggressive thinking. It could, but it might take a while. It's not going to run right to it. It might re it might retest the $60 level like it did over in this range. Jumped up through it and it sold hard. That was likely news over here because the volumes, see those volumes were astronomical on these 2 days of selling right here. So it looks like it got caught with two doses of some bad news, yet still held those levels really well. So yeah, this could be a nice break higher. KRE, yeah, nice. Let me go back out and look at this through a vibe. This would be a vibe. So you got the averages rising here, and you've also got this action here, right? This is the ascending triangle, which is continuation patterns. This looks like it wants to break up through that $40 level. I don't know if it's going to do it today. Pardon me. It might even let you get you into it early next week, but very bullish. And a break of these numbers like that, I always give it at least a couple dollars higher. There could be more in it, but initial targets for something like that for me are usually about $2 higher on that kind of a move. Yeah, nice chart. Jimmy, good question about where do we see all the trades. We're working on a page that's going to show them all on one page. But if you go back, if you go into the closed $100,000 challenge trades and then click on one of those trades, and then you're going to see a little link up towards the top left that says previous trade, and you can back in to see those trades. All right, yeah, we just need to put it all on one page. I know that'd be a lot easier for everybody. So we're working on that. It's just not, it's in the works. Thanks, support. Now that I just answered that, I see support already did. Right. Yeah, that's CMG. It's getting closer to lunch, so it's really taken off now. Man, that's a nice move. Very nice move. Very strong move. At this point, it'd be chasing, but I know that you were in that earlier, Slawick. And nice. Gotta love that. And also, the other stock we've been watching is FedEx. And look at that break. It's up about $3 right now, a 2% move. Very strong signal here. 145 to 150. Not out of the, not out of, not out of the ballpark. That's right. What I'm trying to say there. Yeah, 3D. And a lot of people looking at this yesterday. I know some got in and back out yesterday. It was on my top three yesterday. Just a very nice setup. I explained the reason I liked it so much was because of all this. You get these big moves like this, big days up off of 7, then it crashed back down. The next day, another big day up off of 7, and then even more bullish consolidation. It's up every day, but just very, very slightly, and hits that 7, bounces off of it. That's why I liked it so much yesterday, and I know a lot of you did too. But yeah, I mean, just a strong signal for a move higher. A break here of 85 and a hold. It's got steady volumes. They're not, astronomical, which is fine. It's got steady volumes, but yeah, towards the $90 level. Might not go straight there, right? Sometimes they'll take their time, but eventually you're likely to hit 90 on a break here of 85. Yeah, I agree with you, Martin. We're working on that, okay? As far as putting them all on one shot. Another stock been looking at today is Costco. And with Costco, notice the strong support right down here around 117.5, something like that. It had a lot of reasons to drop lower, and it just has not dropped lower and held it. Very strong. You look at the volumes during this time frame right here when it's been down at these levels, and they've been some strong volumes here as it's tried to dip below that 117.5 mark. Volumes are strong. It's holding the level nice. Today it's breaking up out of this off the 7 like that. This would be one of those that a more anticipating type of a move of this thing. Just, here's the bottom and it's moving higher. How far could it go? The 50 up here, the 50 is not that big of a level for it. 120 might see a little bit right there, but really not even that much at 120. If I draw a line here at 120, there's not much there. Really, the bigger number here is 119. Gets through 119, then we're talking probably up towards a 122 mark, where we saw a little bit of action right through that area right there. But that's a pretty strong signal. This would be a vibe bull. See, the average is all rising here, even through this recent pullback like that. 50, 200, 100 still hanging in there. So not a bad looking setup either. Bank of America. Yeah, I mean, this is just more bullish consolidation. These huge pushes like that up through the 7. Small day yesterday. Now it's letting the 7 catch up. Small day today, letting the 7 catch up. Yeah, there's a little bit of a gravestone if it closes there, but still, I mean, uh, it would just be bullish consolidation. Even a little bit of a pullback here. Let that 7 catch up with it, and then look for it to push back up off the 7. Maybe next week sometime would be a nice looking bullish entrance. Yeah, that Costco moves. That's It's pretty bullish right now. I like the setup. It's got a lot going for it, especially after all that bottoming right there on the big volume. It's nice when you get that. You don't get that very often, where you can see where it's held a nice level of support like that. You don't get the big volume that builds. A lot of times it makes it a little bit easier to call a bottom. Still not always right, but it makes it a little bit easier. Sometimes it falls to those levels, looks like it's going to hold, and it's on lower volume, and then it just takes off anyways. Those are the ones that are tougher to call, but here it's a little bit easier, and that's a pretty bullish looking chart, yeah, and I like Costco. Hey man, they give you free food. Come on, you gotta like Costco. Yeah, it's going to take some time. I'd agree, AK. It's going to take some time to get up to those levels, but I wouldn't see it out of the ballpark here in the next month or two. It might take a little while. When this thing gets up and goes, though, it might happen within a month. You look at the last times here when Costco has taken off. Oh, sorry, got to go back out. You know, Down here when it took off, what was that? 111 to. It took about a month, and it got up to 118. There's $7 there. This next little move right there, about 111 to 118, another $7 move. And then this one, geez, 126. This started down, just from where it breaks out. It was about a month and a half right here. This ran about, $10, $11. Not out of the ballpark for this to hit it in the next month. Not at all. Yeah, nice, AK. Couldn't argue that at all. That's a good looking setup. Another one we've been talking a little bit in chat a little bit is here is Facebook. And this is just more bullish consolidation. They got the shares out there. There's been a lot of talk about the shares, but it hasn't really done much to the stock. A couple ways to look at this is there's a nice cupping action. Now, I don't know if it's going to form much of a handle at this point. It's also broke resistance there at 54 from over here, broke resistance at 54, coming back to test that and the 7. You get a push up off of it, something like this, and it's probably just going to go higher. But yeah, it's got that nice cupping pattern right there. It might not give, again, it might not give you a whole lot of a handle. This might be it for it. If it holds a 54, if it starts dipping down below the 7, then a little bit bearish, but right now it's just right there. It looks like it could spring higher. Another stock that's been on fire, and I know that there's been some lottos here that have turned out nice. Max, good job. And I think Max called the top on this one for the day. He was like just a few cents off. So nice job. Yeah, this is a very strong signal still in the upper, it's in the upper Bollinger Band today, pushing stronger. It might see a little bit here around the 1100 next week, but overall probably just going to run higher eventually. And then Apple, now still below the 7. It's, to me, it's got to get above 550, get above the 20 and the 7-day moving average there, and hold that level to get bullish on it. So far, it's just, it's dropped, gone sideways, and the 7's catching up with it. Another push lower off the 7, something like that. Ouch. Probably coming down to the 530 area. But I'll have to see. It's too early to call if it's going to go up or down at this point. It's just kind of in no man's land out there. Let's look at, well, we've already been through most of those. We can look at top 3 from Wednesday. We've been through most of those. They're doing pretty well. Okay. Well, I'm going to hop off here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be on chat with you the rest of the day. Any comments or anything like that, or through email as well. It's carl@traderminute.com. Okay, everybody, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.